Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome. Today is Monday, December 19th, 2022. My name is Jeremy. This is my first cup. I want to say good morning to Stacy and Frank and Mark and Gad and everybody else out there, whether you're watching live, maybe you're watching later, maybe you're listening later. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just thankful that you're here. I appreciate you coming by. Good morning, Tommy and Jenny. How are you? How was your weekend? Was it great? I hope it was great. You deserve to have a great weekend. You deserve to have great days every day. And I hope that that's what's happening. Words. Good morning, Zed. I hope that is what happened for you. Maybe it didn't, but hopefully today is better than. If not, regardless, I'm still appreciative that you're here because you don't have to. There are a lot of things you have to do or kind of have to do or are at least very important. You don't have to do this. You could be sleeping. You could be doing something else, but you're not. You're here with me, with all of us. And I think it's a pretty good way to start your day. Stacy says this is her favorite of the mugs. Love the dark interior. Black on the inside. Doesn't gas of tea. This is Earl Grey. Stacy says her weekend was great, but felt too short. Often happens, doesn't it? Kelly says happy Monday of Christmas week. Had a wonderful weekend. Dennis is wishing happy Hanukkah and happy Monday. I did say the prayers last night. I often forget the first couple nights and go, wait, it's Hanukkah. But I said the prayers last night. There was a time in my life when two of the three, there are two prayers you say when you light the candles, and there's a third one on day one. I didn't have as much practice with that one, but there was a time in my life, and they're still in there, but there was a time in my life I had those memorized. Good morning, Liz. Ooh, Gad says taking things really slowly. Nursing is sinusitis that's acting up again. I'm sorry to hear that. Oof, that's no good. Well, if anybody had any good stuff, anything or stuff they want support on, anything from the weekend you want to talk about, throw it in there. Computer, if you could just stop throwing unnecessary, that'd be awesome. It's like the seventh one in 2 minutes. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about your good stuff. I want to hear about the stuff that we can help you with. What did I do? So, that storm rolled in on Friday, so I took it easy on Friday and hung out, watched TV, watched movies. Saturday, got up and spent 90 minutes snowblowing the driveway and dealing with stuff. Lost power early Saturday for about 6-7 hours. I woke up. It was 2, something like that. We had lost power. Turned off the beeping things and went back to bed and set an alarm on my phone. And power came on about 15 minutes before I was going to get up. So perfect timing. And had a really good day on Saturday. Did a whole bunch of stuff, but including visited Kelly and Andy for their engagement party / 7 other things. And that was fun. Hung out with a friend Saturday night, had sushi. And yesterday I did very little. I did some stuff. I went to the gym and it felt good. It's a good way to end the weekend. Tommy says he had no power for a couple of days and enjoyed it. Ooh, days. Good morning, Shabashi. Hope you had a great weekend as well. Jenny says starting cooking, baking, or cooking, ads, and reading the computer can't handle the internet. They have to boot something out there. I don't like this computer. Not gonna lie. Good morning to you, Ray. So what's today? Today's Monday. Hey, it being Monday, we have a new episode. Let's talk about today's episode. Let's start there. New episode of Martial Arts Radio. And if it's the one I think it is, some of you will know this person. At least a little bit. And you'll get to know this person even better. So today's episode is with a member of the Whistlekick core team, Victor Guarino. Until recently, a resident of New Jersey, lives in Nebraska now. Kansas. Darn it. It's one of the two. I think it's Kansas. In my brain, those are the same state. And I know they're not. And my apologies to anyone out there. I don't have enough time in. I've never visited them. I don't have enough connection to these states that it's easy for me to form a new association. If somebody moves to Connecticut, I know plenty of people in Connecticut, and I think in my brain, oh, maybe they'll move near Dennis. Maybe they'll move near Paul. Maybe they'll move near that place in the east of the state where I used to have friends, right? Like, it's easier to form those associations. But not so much without there. But what's most important is I really enjoyed getting to know Victor better. This is someone that I have meetings with periodically, that I've had some great phone calls. He's a great guy, very passionate martial artist. And I got to hear so much more. And that, I like that. It's one of my favorite things about what I do, is getting to know people I know even better. So you can check that out. It's all over the place. Jenny is clarifying for me. It is Kansas. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. And she says, ducking autocorrect. Yes, it was started cookie baking. There you go. Kelly had her MRI for her shoulder on Friday. Apparently she has 2 tears. One's a complete tear, which is good. I prefer knowing there's a reason for pain and that it's not just in my head. I can understand that. We second guess so much, don't we? We second guess such a huge portion of our lives because we were taught to do that. A lot of us were taught in school or by our parents. Constant overanalysis. It's not a great habit. And it's one that when I teach, a lot of what I'm teaching is, not that I phrase it this way, but it's getting people to unlearn that, or at least be able to set it aside. Because you can't do that in self-defense. If someone attacks you, you can't spend the time, no, you just have to do it. You have to do something. What's the only wrong movement in self-defense? Not doing anything at all. And for a lot of us, that's really difficult. I've watched people, I've run drills, people who are quite competent, who have been training for decades, and they freeze up. Because you have to attack that problem. You can't just let it sit there. It's not going to serve you. Talking about Kelly's injury. For those of you who don't join live, I hope you do at some point. And for those of you who do, thank you. Dennis says, Nebraska is better than New Jersey all day. I don't know how the people in New Jersey would feel about that. I can't compare. I've been to New Jersey a bunch of times. I've never been to Nebraska. Maybe I'll have to remedy that. I'll be in, let's see, 5 weeks. I'll be in New Jersey again. For an event in Atlantic City. Dennis I'm guessing, will be there. I don't know. Maybe you won't. I don't know if anybody else is going to be there. Well, people will be there. I don't know if any of you will be there. So today's Monday. It's actually not too full of a Monday, which I'm kind of digging. I'm kind of looking forward to that. There are a bunch of things that I'm trying to move the ball forward on, and looking forward to getting those things done so I can move on to other things. Right? Let's put something in place that works and advances the mission, and then we can move on to something else. Tommy says Jersey has better beaches than Nebraska. I would assume so. But Nebraska has a better night sky. Well, I would suspect that as well. Kelly says beaches are the best. Dennis says he'll be there maybe just a day trip and only to see Superfoot and you. Well, thanks, bud. Appreciate it. Anything else I want to report? I don't think so. I'll tell you a little bit about something going on. I've been trying to do more in the morning before this show. I was very resistant to that, especially since I've had a similar morning routine for years. Wake up, prep for the show, and have my tea or my coffee, and then do a few things and get ready. But I've shifted around. Started to be a little more intentional with my day, getting my shower in. I think today was the first day. I got up at 5:15. I've been walking this back a little bit every morning for the last week or so. But I got up at 5:15, managed to get my hair cut, trim my beard, took a shower, broke my head razor. I was very annoyed. I'll tell you, these things are sensitive. All this stuff is really sensitive, these pieces of electronics. They're not made durably. And apparently I've been cleaning it wrong, and one very small piece broke off one very small piece, and the whole thing is completely useless now. So we will have to figure out what to do about that. Good morning to you, Nathan. No, how do I block this person? I don't know how to block this person. Well, I'll have to deal with that later, I guess. Ray says we went to West Berlin, New Jersey 8 years ago to go to Diggerland, construction-themed theme park. Oh, I've heard of these. When my son was little, people were shocked we went to New Jersey for vacation from Vermont. Ha! Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. You know, I've seen those. Those sound like a lot of fun. If you don't know what we're talking about, the concept is, think of like a big sand pit, and they give you the basics on driving dump trucks and bucket loaders, and it's the adult version of a sandbox, and you get to go and play with all the big construction equipment. It sounds like a blast. It's definitely something I would do. I'd love that. I don't think there's anything else really to say about today, which is kind of interesting. I'm gonna look at my calendar and make sure. I have a pistol lesson this evening. No, just looking at a variety of things. Oh, here's one other thing I'll tell you. So this is something that Jenny and I were talking about. It finally bubbled up, and I had a chance to do it. On Friday, we launched an item at whistlekick.com for $50, where you get all of our books, all of them in digital format. It's like 15 books. Did you know we had that many books? I didn't realize. But you get digital versions of 12 Months to Health and Martial Artist Handbook and Faith and everything. And as if you had purchased them on Amazon, if you bought digital Kindle versions of those books there, as we update them, you'll get updated versions. It is unlikely we will add new books to that collection. We'll probably build a second collection when it comes time, because $50 to have a lifetime subscription to all books, that's a little bit too good of a deal. I don't know that I can handle that. But we'll keep them up to date as we edit them. So for those of you who have a Kindle or an iPad and you enjoy reading on that, I can't think of a better deal for you. Check it out. Stacy's calling it the all-in digital bundle. That's pretty cool. Hello, friends from India. All righty. Jenny's agreeing with me. Definitely too good for the amazing books we have coming in the future. Well, alrighty. So, let's switch gears into the stuff that Frank sent over. And as always, thank you to Frank for all of his work on the show. Thank you to Josh for our theme song. And thank you to, I finally heard back, she's okay with me using her name. Thank you to Denise for putting it into the audio podcast. So any of you who listen to the audio feed later, if you download, and you know what, even if you don't, if you could, it makes us a little bit of money, like a very small amount of money. But if everybody did it, it would make us a only mildly small amount of money. But it all adds up. You can search for First Cup in any podcast player and you should be able to find it. So Frank sent over, what did Frank send over? I hit refresh. Oh, here we go. And boom, ba-doom, boom, 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 ba-doom, boom. Pew, pew, pew. On this day in 2008, Donnie Yen's film Ip Man is released in Hong Kong. Some trivia from IMDb. Before we go to the trivia, how many of you remember watching Ip Man or Ip Man, however you feel like pronouncing it? It really doesn't bother me. I felt like it was it's a good movie. I like the movie. Oh, apparently we're plowing the roads. I didn't realize we needed to do that today. I felt like it was a bit of a transitional film because it was the first time in a while that we'd had a movie from overseas kind of come back to the US and do well, right? Subtitled. Other than Donnie Yen, if I'm remembering correctly, in the first one, nobody that anybody knew about in the US. And it did well. In part because Donnie Yen's amazing. Still dreaming of having him on the show. Still hasn't happened. Maybe one day. And the martial arts in it's awesome, isn't it? The fight scenes in that film are great. The story's not bad. But the choreography is really good and really creative in a way that we don't generally see. It wasn't Ong Bak right around that same time? Tony Jaa. Something really different in choreography. We've seen a lot of the same stuff. And I think getting to see different choreography for all of us is really nice, especially if what you're seeing on screen more closely represents what you do. Representation may not be the most important thing, but it's nice to feel seen. And it's nice to see yourself in a scene. Take care, Shabashi. All right. Facts about Ip Man. Tommy says, love those films. Although it is not mentioned in the film, Grandmaster Ip Man was actually employed as a police officer during the Japanese invasion. And of course, since this film, we've had a number of films about him. I think the Donnie Yen series did 4 of them. Was it the 3rd or the 4th one that had Mike Tyson? They built up the budget and they did okay. But there have been some kind of knockoff films. I think one of them was actually Ip Man. Remember, arguing over English versions of spellings in other languages is silly, which is why I think arguing about the spelling of Kempo versus Kenpo is a waste of time. I lost my train of thought. All right, anyway. Kat says they certainly know how to milk the Ip Man legacy. They certainly do. Jenny's helping me out. Mike Tyson was in the 3rd one. Scott Adkins in the 4th one. That's what I was remembering. And Jenny says, that was the movie where I fell in love with Donnie Yen. Loved that 10-on-1 fight. Loved the whole thing. Just amazing. And I didn't even know it existed until, I think, 2014. Could be a movie review that you three do, perhaps. All right, next. As mentioned in the film, Ip Man's fighting style is Wing Chun. It is said to be created by two women. Gad, can you help me with the pronunciation of that first name? There's no vowel. I'm not quite sure what to do. NG? I've seen it. I've never had to read it before. Mui and Yim Wing Chun. According to legend, a warlord wanted to marry Yim Wing Chun, but she refused and instead challenged him to a duel. She came across Mui, a Buddhist nun whom she asked for help. Together, they created the art of Wing Chun, which the nun named after Yim Wing Chun. Wing Chun won the fight. Can you imagine being proposed to or proposing to someone? Can you imagine proposing to someone and they say, no, let's fight to the death? That's so much worse than a rejection. It's terrible. But, you know, maybe it was a really bad proposal. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what proposal would warrant that in modern times. I don't think anything. I think anything that would get anywhere close is not really a proposal. It would be something very different. Jenny says, I said yes, and Matt and I still fight to the death. Well, you're both alive, so I don't know if that really counts. All right, thank you. Gad says, NG is Cantonese. My knowledge of that is somewhat limited. Well, it dwarfs mine. But it sounds a bit like, okay. Great. I will do my best to remember that because it's a name that shows up once in a while, you know, kind of the founder of a martial arts style. You guys are having fun with this idea of a proposal turning into a fight to the death. She says, yes, both alive for now. I don't want the fight to be too easy for him. Oh, you're all ridiculous. All of you are ridiculous, and I love it. That's why it's such a great way for me to start my day. And lastly, Ip Man's eldest son, Ip Chun, his student Liu Ayung, and Chung Kwon gold medalist To Yu Hong served as technical consultants for the film, providing advice on the film's story and martial arts choreography. It was the last time I think I was in Atlantic City. Michael Jai White was there and did a session and had the honor of being able to, well, honor might be too strong a word. I got to go to it, as anyone who's there would have been able to. But he spent some time, he said, you know, I'm not going to do things. You ask questions. If you want me to show you something, if you want me to tell you something, just go. And we had some wonderful, wonderful conversations, or there were wonderful conversations. He showed some stuff. And he said something that has stuck with me quite a bit. And that was that, I believe he said it was his first film. I think he was in Hong Kong. When he did his fight choreography, he went really fast because he thought that's what he was supposed to do. And he said it looked terrible, I think was the word he used, on film because it was too fast and you couldn't quite see it. And so now that he's a veteran and he's made, I don't know how many movies, when you're on camera, you've got to be slower. And it makes sense. It makes complete sense. But it's not something I ever would have thought of. So someday, when I make my film debut, which will probably come as a result of the Whistlekick film division, we're not there. Don't get excited yet. Get excited for other things, not that yet. I will have to remember to not go too fast. Slow it down. It's funny. If you look at older classics, Billy Jack, any of the Bruce Lee stuff, any of the stuff from the 70s, they didn't move very fast. And part of it, I think they couldn't. I don't know that the cameras could catch it well. But you look at stuff now, and man, it's gotten a lot faster. But some of my favorite stuff isn't so much fast, but it's choreographed well. And that was my favorite thing. Some of you know, and I don't know if he's still here. He was here at the beginning of the show. Nathan Porter recently put out a short film, and the choreography in it is wonderful. It's done amazingly well. It's not super fast. It doesn't have to be. It's just done well, and you can see what's going on. And I like that. I want to be able to look at those moves. I want to be able to learn from them, try them out. Oh, I want to try that. That looks like it. Oh, okay, that would work. Right? How much better is it to learn from a film than just sit and passively enjoy it? Connect, educate, and entertain. If you can check all three of those boxes. Speaking of connect, educate, and entertain, don't forget, All In Weekend. We're down to 9 slots. If you have not signed up yet and it's something you want to do, don't wait. Don't wait. More than 4 months left. Got tons of time and only 9 slots left. We're almost sold to where we were total last time. And we've started talking about food. The food itself, you'd have a hard time eating that well for a weekend for what you pay. And you get training, and you get a place to stay, and you make a bunch of friends. What's better than that? Stacy says about speed on camera. Wish I'd known that when they filmed me folding the crane for the news. I looked manic in folding. I get it. Mark says All In Weekend's awesome. I would agree. I think we did a good job. Kelly says, I love watching a fight and try to guess the next moves, or sometimes I yell at the screen because they missed an opening. Yeah, you're not alone in that. You're not alone. We, some of you have probably seen it. We put out a variety of posts on Whistlekick. Social media, you're a martial artist and in the original set of 10 that I made, one of them is, you've ever been shushed in a movie theater for saying that won't work, or that wouldn't work. So it's time. I send you off to your day. I want to thank you for coming by. Thank you for the support of your time. I hope you enjoy starting your day with us, or maybe you do it later and it's not starting your day. Maybe it's the end of your day. Regardless of when, I hope you enjoy your time, and I appreciate you all. If you want to support us in our mission to connect, educate, and entertain, which is what we keep working on, everything we do falls under at least one of those headings, and our best things do all three. You can buy something at whistlekick.com using the code FIRSTCUP15. In fact, if you wanted to save 15% on that book collection, you could do that, and making that kind of a stupidly good price. Roughly 1/3 of what you would pay for buying those books on Amazon. If you want to join the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. It is a great way to get more out of your relationship with Whistlekick, to be part of the family, to go behind the scenes, to know, if you wanted to know that today's episode was going to be with Victor, that's the only place you're ever going to find that information, unless you work for Whistlekick. I don't know if we need another producer on Whistle for Martial Arts Radio, but if anybody wants to, you can let me know. I'll talk to Andrew. We've talked about it a little bit, but the best thing to do is join the family page. It's not even joining. You just go there. It's free. You have to type whistlekick.com/family. You could bookmark it and then just go. And I would suggest you go once a week. I usually update it early in the week. Sometimes it takes later, until later in the week, but it's weekly. And I put a time and date right at the top so you know if it's changed since you've been there. And you get to learn stuff and see pictures and things you will see literally nowhere else, because it's the only place that I put that stuff. I save the best stuff for all of you, and the best stuff is free. All the best stuff we do is free. And that's why we appreciate things like your Patreon contributions. Everybody's pumped talking about Michael Jai White. I don't know if he's going to be there, but one of the things, because my life is weird, one of the things on my to-do list, I have to reach out to his cousin, Grant Campbell, who's been on the show. But I gotta connect with him. That might happen today. I hope you have a great day. I hope to see you back here tomorrow. And that takes us to the end. So take care, everybody. Peace.